Welcome to the Hamsig Analytics Daily Market Commentary. I'm Pablo Navarro. Today is Wednesday, October 3rd, 2012. For the market internals, the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline differential closed at negative 56. Nasdaq advanced decline differential closed at negative 196. We had 31 new 52-week highs for the S&P 500 and 3 new 52-week lows for the S&P 500. For the volatility, 480,000 contracts traded on the VIX today, with 73 million in total premiums paid. For the dollar-weighted put-call ratio in October, we saw a 0.97 reading with 10% of the total premiums paid. On November, a 0.76 reading with 59% of the total premiums paid. And in December, a 0.62 reading with 11% of the total premiums paid. All of these were neutral readings here on the dollar-weighted put-call ratio. Here we have the daily chart for SPX. We were up 5.24. And we closed above 0.6, which was exactly what we needed here to continue the uptrend here on the very short term. And our target so far for tomorrow and Friday are going to be 1471 and 1460. That's going to be based on the upside if we get good non-farm payrolls on Friday. If we get some bad numbers, maybe we're talking about 1436, 1424. Those are going to be the targets here on the daily chart for SPX. If we go to the 60-minute chart, here we have the support, pivot, and resistance. We are now above weekly pivot. You can see it here, and we're trying to reach this 1459, 1460 level. That's going to be our first resistance. If we get maybe some good numbers and ECB comes out as we expected, get some good news here, we maybe go target the 1470, 1477. That's resistance number 2 here on this 60-minute chart. In case we get some bad news and we start to sell off, 1426 is going to be our first target here as support number 1. If we look at this chart here, we could see the trend line we've been talking about. Here's the triangle, and it's starting to collapse here. Tomorrow is going to be very little range here. Maybe we get a little range here before non-farm payrolls on Friday. And if we do get the number, we'll start to look for a breakout here. So it's going to be very important to watch these levels here for the next coming hours on the market. Let's go for SPY. And let's get the targets here. Not much change here on SPY. We just broke weekly pivot to the... And we are now looking for 145.80. That's going to be our next target on the upside. And above that, 147. Those are going to be the 2 targets here. We need to get that in case we get some good news out of the ECB and non-farm payrolls again. If we start to sell off, maybe some bad numbers, 142.50 and then 141 are going to be our targets on the downside. Just for you to look at the targets here on the triangle, here we have the same chart. SPY is already trying to break out here and trying to go here for... This is gonna act as support here, and we're going to try to go for this 146 level, maybe 146.10 for this previous high here last week. Those are gonna be the targets for SPY on the upside. Going to the Nasdaq ETF, here we have the Qs and the 60-minute chart with the support, pivot, and resistance. We are above weekly pivot, which is bullish here. And we're looking for 69.82 and then 71. Those are going to be our next 2 targets here on the upside. 69.81 and 71. In case we break this weekly pivot, we'll be looking for 67.60 and 66.60. Those are going to be the targets on the downside in case we break that weekly pivot on the Qs. For the IWM, this is the Russell 2000 ETF. Here we have the risk on, risk off ETF, and we continue to be below weekly pivot, which is not good here overall. We closed at 83.62. we wanted to be above 84, which is almost the weekly pivot, and we're seeing this index start to lag here, maybe risk off starting to be the trade on. But again, if we want to hold this 82.80, 82.50 level we talked about last week, that's gonna be our support. In case we hold that, we're looking for 85 and higher, maybe 86.60. We could look here at this chart. And let's look at the 60-minute chart. We're starting to see some breakdowns here on the risk on, risk off ETF, IWM. You can see here we have this trend line and we're starting to break down. We wanted this to start going up higher and maybe resume its path with this trend line, but it's gonna be critical that we hold these lows. These lows are the last support we're looking at before getting bearish here on IWM. For GLD, here we have the 60-minute chart for GLD, but let's start on the daily chart. Gold today up 0.17%, basically flat for the day. We continue to have flat days, and you can see Sigma channel width starting to contract as the volatility and the market's basically doing nothing, going flat here. We want maybe to see another test at this 70-50 level, 0 Sigma, and then starting rally to this 175. That's gonna be the target here, and we could look at this other chart to support that. We have here this huge run up, and now we're getting a bull flag. We want maybe to come a little back to this level 170.50 and then start to break out. That is the plan here on GLD, and we could look at the daily chart to see that better. Huge run up from here. We broke this trend line, and after that we just been going higher. Took a break, and now it's time maybe to go up again after touching this average, this green line 170.50, and then our target would be 175. Last chart we're gonna look at is the VIX. Here we have the daily chart for the VIX, and today we were down 1.8%, basically flat. Volatility is very compressed here on the VIX. We want maybe a little higher numbers. I've been talking about that for a while now. Maybe come and test this 200-day moving average one more time, and then come back to this 15-17 level again. So right now that's the plan here for the VIX. We have a special offer by TradeStation. Get your Hamsig Analytics proprietary indicators paid by TradeStation. Contact Active Traders office in Chicago, Peter Albino, at the number listed below.